Hey, welcome back to JR Oil Paintings 101. Sorry about that. Buddy of mine called, and anyway, I had to answer his phone call. So, anyway, we left off with scraping off our basic cabin shape. So, we got it going on here, and this is the top, the top of the roof here, sides over here. Now, what we're going to do here is just start out with just Van Dyke Brown. So, we'll get a little bit of Van Dyke Brown here and get that little bit of paint, and we're going to start with the back eave here and just touch and pull just a little bit. There's the back eave. Now we're going to put the front. You're going to have to go about that same angle when you go over like that. You don't want it too far. And then we're going to go back, put the rest of that roof in. About like that. So we're going to outline the roof first. That way you can tell where the rest of it's going to be. You know what I mean? Now this angle here is going to be the same as that front one. Or you're not going to look right. So, about something like that. I'll put the roof on first, even though with a traditional house building, you're supposed to do the house first and the roof last, but I wish you could put the roof in first. That'd be interesting. Just see a roof floating out in the middle of nowhere. I'll just put it in about like that. Just keep going with it until you get your roof where you want it. And then we'll put the highlights, colors, and stuff on it. And by golly, we'll have a nice little house here. We'll put some windows and stuff. I want that roof to go about right there. Just put a nice little line there so you can tell where you're going to stop. Otherwise, your roof will go on forever. You have nothing but roof. All right. There we go. We'll fix that there. Now we got this nice little roof. Now we'll keep going into that, just that Van Dyke Brown. That's all we're doing with this so far is just the Van Dyke Brown. And pull down. Like I said, we're going to put some color on this little feller here in a little bit. This is just to block in some color so the highlights will show up. Leave a little bit of that leaf hanging out over here away from that back edge of your cabin. That's where your roof is going to be, the roof line. So just pull down. And it doesn't really matter how far down you do. We'll cut him off where we want him. What we don't want, we'll just get rid of it. And then down here, I just can pull down. Well, something like that. And a little more color down here. Something like that. We got this nice little cabin started here. Now you got to figure out which way your lights are shining. It's shining back off here, so that's kind of in the front. Actually, that back side back there have more color on it than not. But we're gonna make the front where the sun would be shining. So we're just going to go up here. Now this color I've got on the knife here has got brown, burnt sienna, little bit of red, and yellow ochre here, and titanium white, of course. Very loosely mixed on the palette. You're just going to pull straight down, or pretty straight down, and just let it like you're putting snow on the mountain here. Just going to break it up just a little bit. Well, something like that. All right. For the other side, for the dark side, we got everything but the white. We got the brown, the burnt sienna, the yellow ochre, and the red. And we're just going to go up here and pull down just a little bit. Make this area a little bit darker than the other side, because there ain't going to be much light hitting over here. About something like that. You can put any colors you want on your house there. All right, but there you go. Nice little house we got going on here. I kind of like the front right here. And whatever you don't want, chop that off. That way you get your perspective just right. And we got us a little house going on here. Maybe a little bit more right there. There we are. Hey, you need the door, windows. We're going to take our little knife here. We're going to scrape off a door right here. Maybe he's got a big old door. Maybe not. Maybe he's got a little door. I like that. There's a door. And it's windows. We got a window there. And let's just put a window over here too. A window over there. Maybe one right here on the side, but make it go back the same angle that your house is. Not like that. Now we got a house with windows, but he ain't got no door, no glass in there. So we'll go with some black for the door. He likes a dark door. Everybody likes different colored doors, but he likes a dark door. And we just pull straight down with the door, like so. Now, this is where you have to decide if he's home or not. If he's home, you're going to have some glass in there. You're going to have some light in the windows. So let's go ahead and just do that. Let's say he's home today. I ain't had one home in a while. So this guy's going to be home. So we got just some yellow. Some cad yellow. We're going to put in there. And just put in there just a bit. About like that. Don't have to be perfect. Just enough color to say he's home. And way on the sides. With the sides, make sure you go the same angle as you go back. Don't go straight down, because the windows wouldn't go straight down, wouldn't they? Got a little bit of yellow there. Now what we're going to do here now is take a little bit of liquid white, put it down here on the palette. Take liquid white on our knife and just kind of outline the door. I'll show up a little bit, and then do the windows the same way. Except on the windows, we're going to put a little X marks the spot, or cross marks the spot in the middle of it. I'll show you where the pane of glass would be. And we ain't finished the old roof yet. So we're going to do that in a minute too. But get a little bit of white on your knife. Cut in little boards. Little boards. So you have this an old slat house. Right here too, but keep the angles in mind. About like that. Now then, for the roof, we're going to just take mostly red, a little bit of brown, and we'll just kind of, yeah, hit that roof. Kind of looks like my roof. It needs help. Now you could take the time and put a little bunch of little shingles on this roof by just using the small knife, the small edge of your knife. Put paint on it and put them in pretty much one at a time. And I don't really want to do that today, so we're going to do it this way. Now you got to make that back eave too. It's got to have finished off roof too, you know. Not like that. Now we have an old rustic looking cabin, don't we? Isn't he cool? Now we'll tap in a little bit of that. There we go. Now then, use that brush again. So we'll put that over there. Now we got us a good start here. I just thought of something else I was going to do too. So we're going to do it. In my head, this is all his property, but it stops right back here. So we're going to put a fence right along the back side of that. And to do that, we're just going to put a little roll of brown, just Van Dyke brown on the small edge of the knife here. And we're just going to pull in a few fence posts. I do this before I add, if I can get my paint here. We're going to do it one other way, actually, I think. Instead of this way, if I can find my other brush. And of course, I can't find my other brush. It's going to be over here. Out of the way. Excuse me. Pardon me. Pardon me again. Just had to go get my filbert brushes. I'd rather do it this way today, I think. Should always put them over there. We're going to just take a little filbert brush, just a little brush, and get into some brown with just a touch, a very light touch of paint thinner. And then we're going to have some fence posts right there, just like that. Nice them out. Add a little bit more color to it. You can see them. I ain't sticking with it now, are they? All right, we'll get a little more lighter color, a little bit of paint thinner on there. Maybe we can get these suckers to stick. There we go. Fence off our pretty red bush here. There we go. A little bit more paint thinner on there. And just go to town here. There we go. We're going to go all the way back here. And the fun part of that is that you're going through that yellow with your brown. It's already putting your highlights on your fence posts for you. And a little bit higher up on that one. I'll just disappear behind here, but it's going to pick up. Actually, I'm not going to put him back there because I'm gonna have a tree back there here in a minute anyway. So if you want a little bit more color or highlight to it, get you a little bit of liquid white and just go down one side of each of these. Something like that. Get you a little bit more here and there. About like that one. Now then, there's two ways you can go from here as far as putting slats. You could either put slats on there or wire. I think we're going to use wire today. And that is just some liquid white on your knife, and you're just going to cut it in. You're just going to cut it right on in right there. Kind of went haywire a little bit there, didn't we? Right along in there, didn't we? Kind of messed up. There we go. And we're going to put another one right down low. About like that. Yeah, we'll figure some bushes or something out right there to cover our little mistake there. And there we go. We got us a little fence and a little house. Even though you got a hell of a glare on our house there, don't we? But there it is. And there we go. Or if you want to leave it there, there. I think we'll leave that off for right now. You can actually see something. Okay. No, got to see it. All right. Can't see. Got to see. All right. Now we're gonna go to putting in some color on our grass. Gotta have some color on our little grass here. I'll make it look like a grass instead of just a whatever it is. All right. We have I like our 2-inch brush for this. We're going to go into the cad yellow. And a little bit of liquid white. Just enough to thin it down. There we go. Just do that. And go into some sap green, and maybe a little bit of phthalo blue there. I kind of like that setup. With just a touch of black. That'll darken it up some. A little bit more. A little bit more liquid white. A little bit of ochre and Indian yellow mixed in with that. Maybe just a touch more blue than there. Just greening up just a little bit. There we go. We're going to start tapping in some color back here along the fence line. Remember, this has got a lot of blue in it, so you can just go with just yellows if you want, and it'll turn on you. It will. It'll get the color you want. There's a lot of blue in that down here. Just going to tap right next to the house there. Talk about some precision on that green brush or that grass there with that big old brush, tapping it around that house without touching the house. That'll get you some practice, let me tell you. You can do this with a 1-inch brush. You can pop it in there Not quite as quick as you can with a 2-inch. Just one whatever makes you feel more comfortable. Lighten that up just a little bit. All right, now we're just tapping it in there. Just kind of overlap those rocks just a bit. Something like that. Maybe. A little bit brighter on there. With just a touch more blue in there to get it a little greener. And just bring it up just a little with the liquid white. There we go. So you just play with these back and forth here a little bit. Remember, if you get one too bright, just tap it a little bit. It'll get that color underneath color and go to town. It'll darken it up. And leave a little bit of those dark spots, and it'll give you different variations on your color. I'm just putting in the grassy area. We're going to figure out bushes and such here in a little bit. Got to have a few bushes and trees to make this scene nice and pretty. At least in my eye, I like painting bushes and trees. So we're going to tap the rest of this in. For those of you that may have tuned in to part 2, my name is Jeff Robinson, and this is JR Oil Painting 101, and I just teach you a wet on wet technique. I had to stop filming for just a minute, answer a phone call, so that's why we started right in the middle of a cabin. So hope you forgive me for that. We're just tapping in a little bit of grass here and there, mainly there and there and there. All around that pond. And just vary the shades of green. Add a little bit of yellow ochre, a little bit of Indian yellow, maybe a little bit of red here and there. Red will dull that green down. If it's too bright for you, it'll dull it right on down. And if you want it a little brighter, just add a little bit of cad yellow or liquid white. And it'll brighten it up for you. See there? Look at that. Just tapping it in there. All kinds of shapes. And just try and remember, the way you put your shapes in your lay of the land, so to speak, on there. I think we got us a pretty nice little grassy area there. Now we're going to put in a few trees here and there. And show you a couple other little tricks up my sleeve here. We're going to take in that same green color. We're just going to add just a little bit of liquid white on the brush with a little bit of paint thinner. I want to show you a real thin, or get a real thin color of green. We're going to put in a few little, let's say, a couple of little grass. A little bit of grass right there. They're not showing up too well. Anyway, they don't show up. I had the wrong kind of color paint on there. I don't want to brighten it up too much. So I'll go about it some other way. All right, let's put some trees in here. What you say? I say we should put some trees in here. We're going to go. Where's our little round brush? There's our little round brush. I'm going to take our little round brush. Get into that. Let's go with just some black. I want it really dark. We're going to put a couple of little bushes around here. Right here. Just to the side of him. Maybe on this side too. Tap in a little bit of color. And we'll go over that edge of that house just a little bit. And just kind of thin it out just a little bit. And we'll go over there just there. We'll get him good looking, right? You just hide and watch. I want a tree right here. Because I don't like some of this stuff right here. So we're going to put in a tree right here. Great old big tree. Yeah, maybe not a great old big tree, but a good sized tree. All over our fence there. Oh well. I'll put a couple of bushes out on the side. One big tree coming up. Actually, I think I'm going to go a little bigger. I want a really good sized tree right there. I really do want a big tree. Big old shade tree. We're going to put it over here. I'm going to fan him out just a little bit. Like that. Big old tree right there. By golly. A couple of bushes off to the side. About like that right there. That's what we got going on so far. I like it. Now we're going to take our little brush here. I dip it into some paint thinner and some burnt sienna. I get that nice and loose. Nice and loose, nice and thin. We're going to have a big tree, so we have trunks right there. And then we're going over here. And this one's going to go off of that side. That's going to go off this side. See there? We're just going to keep doing this till you cut what you want. About like that. I'm going to put a little bit bigger trunk here. And just a little bit of color. Not too much. I'll thin that out just a little bit. Make some little branches that come out this way. Big one there. And this big gnarly tree gonna have some roots right there. So we'll get a little bit of white in there. just to kind of add some color here to it. There we are. About like that. About like that. Now then. Now we'll go with our other round brush. And we'll go into the Cad Yellow, Liquid White, and a nice bright yellow one over here. I like this one. I think it's going to be a nice bright yellow. And this little one too, I think. We'll just yellow it up too. I like the way that looks. I like that right there. Now before we go too far, I want to keep adding a little bit of color to the bottom of these. Get a little shadow at the bottom of these bushes. If it gets too dark, just lighten it up. Or you want it lighter, just add a little bit of liquid white to your paint and keep going. About like that. So we got some bushes in there around our little house. So now we can keep going with this big old beautiful tree. Now we're going to go with some of the yellow or liquid white and green. A little bit more sap green here. And liquid white. A little bit more yellow. And we're going to go up here and put some tree in this tree. And just remember where these, just think like a tree would. I remember where the light would strike these trees, these limbs, and put your color in there. Let it get a little darker as it comes down, but you still don't want to be all dark and all light. You just want to show up right. So you're just going to keep adding on the outer edges, add a little bit more liquid white to it. Brighten it up here. Because up here is where all the sun's going to hit it, right? All on these outer parts. And then just get a little bit darker inside here. And if it gets too light in there, just darken it up a little bit. Do a tapping on it just a little bit. Don't want to tap too much because then it'll get rid of all that darkness. You gotta have some darkness. Go across your trunk too, just a little bit. Don't just leave your trunk out there sticking in the middle with no leaves covering it. That's not how it works. You're gonna have that occasionally. Now we'll put some lighter colors here for the bush. Really light colors down here on the outer edge here. A little darker in here because you're not going to see it. You're going to have a lot of shadow back here underneath this big old monster tree here we got going on. And we're going to go just a little bit brighter on the outside edges than we normally would, or than you do in the middle. And then take that brush with the grass color on it, and put a little bit of grass on the bottom of these. And clean up the bottom of those bushes just a bit. About like so. There we go. Now then, we got us some pretty sweet looking little bushes and trees and everything right there. And a little house that we can call home. But you know me, I don't think that's going to be quite it. I think we're going to put something over here in the foreground just a bit. And tap that round brush into some black. And then we're just going to put in another tree right here. I'll go over our pond just a little bit. I'll stop short of that fence. I like the fence right there. At least with me. And then we're going to put in a few bush shapes right here. I like our little bush shapes here. I'm not going to do all that. I'm going to leave that still green. All right, I don't know if I have to. I can't leave it that way. Okay, we got this guy. I like my pond here. Now these over here, we're just going to put some bushes right here. I like that. Just some bushes. Just some little bush shapes. Go back into our color. And we're going to have some nice big red bushy bush. Where are we going to put our big red bush? I think over there in the corner. I think so. I think we'll put him right here. I like that. Then we'll go into some yellow. Big yellows with a little bit of white, liquid white, that is. Going this, we'll finish this side off before we go over here. And we'll just kind of tap in some little bushes. And a bit of bush shapes here. You can move your brush around. And some of your color there. Yeah, about like that. Now we'll go over here. First, we need to put in, you get it, a tree trunk. Gotta have a tree trunk if you got a tree, right? And this big daddy, oh, right there. Yeah, just like moving straight up. But then he's gonna come off over this way, that one over there. That's what we're gonna do with him. Not much, because we've put in a lot of branches, tree trunks, and whatnot. We're gonna go into the yellows and greens. Add a little bit of liquid white to it occasionally, just to thin it out. I'm gonna start with this big tree. Go just right there. You don't want it the same green as your grass back there, because if you do, you're not going to be able to tell them apart. And we want to tell these apart. Now we'll brighten that up just a little bit with a little bit of liquid white. About like so. And just keep tapping. Just tap in some basic tree shapers here. Yeah, right there like that. Now this one over here, I think we're going to go with the green right there. And then we'll go into the yellows. Get rid of some of this color on the brush. Not too much different colors on the brush. I need to thin it out just a little bit. With a little bit of liquid white and yellow. I want a bright yellow one over here. I do, I like that. Just back and forth with your colors and your shapes. Just kind of like that. Get you varying colors with the yellows and the greens, and maybe a little bit of red here and there, just to kind of orangey it up a little bit every now and then. Change the flavor. Don't kill all your dark in there. Gotta have them dark spaces, or your light won't shine through. It won't look like a bush. It'll just look like a mess. I'm about like that. I think we're good. Now I'm gonna scrape in a few twigs and sticks here and there and see what we got. Here too. And try and stick with the dark wherever you scrape and use in. Because you just want to show an indication of where tree trunks and limbs would be to hold up all these leaves and stuff. So you're going to have to just put in a few here and there. About something like that. There we go. About like that. And I think with that, we're going to call this one complete. So we'll take our little, as you know, I like my painting signed with phthalo blue, a little bit thinner. And just flatten some out here so I can get to it. Got a mess on my palette over here, so. And a little bit of white, just to kind of brighten it up just a little bit. Yeah, we're just going to go just nice and loose on this paint here so it'll stick. We got a lot of paint on the canvas. And you can sign your paintings any way you want to. It's your painting after all. So I like to sign mine, just my initials, over here in the corner. So we're going to go, well, I sign mine in blue, one of my favorite colors. And we just go with a J. And an R here. And also, I put the year that I painted this. And it lets me keep track of when I painted these. Because I always forget. They'll kind of run together after a little while. And there we go. One more finished painting. Hope y'all enjoyed this one. I kind of enjoyed painting it. I had no idea what I was going to do when I sat down here. But there we go. That is another finished painting. I hope you liked this. If you did, shoot, give me a subscription button push on there. And if you really like what I do, if you like my paintings, my style, go over to my website, jroilpaintings.com. I got a few up there. I'll be posting a few more this weekend. And if it's a little too pricey for you, just shoot me an email. My email address is on the website, and maybe we can negotiate it down to a different price where you can afford it. If you're local here in the Dallas Fort Worth area, here in Dallas Fort Worth, Texas, I will deliver it and I'll waive the shipping charge to you. Otherwise, I'll have to ship it to you. So that I believe will do it for tonight, and we will holler at you in the next day or two. So have a good one.